Hello, bonjour, how you doing? Welcome to Big DFS Energy, ladies and gentlemen. We got a banger for you today. The America's team, Dallas Cowboys, are coming into Tampa Bay, and we got a playoff game on a Monday. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm here for it. I love it. The more football we get, the happier I'm going to be. Kickoff is at 8:15 p.m., Monday, January 16th. Let's get into it. First things first, OwnserBox is the #1 DFS app in Ontario and worldwide. Yeah, you heard me. Sign up today using promo code BIGDFS. Get up to $500 matched with your initial deposit. Friendly reminder, every deposit and withdrawal that you make is done in US dollars, so make sure you factor in that conversion rate. So before we start giving you some player suggestions and get into the whole matchup between the Cowboys and the Buccaneers, you want to make sure that you know how you're going to approach building your lineup. So the reason why I say this is there's two different ways that you can approach this with two different competitions. You got the 3K Wildcat matchup. You get to use up to 5 players only to do that matchup, having one Superflex in there. And then there's the 3K Gunslinger, where it's the normal format where you get to play all 9 players with 2 Superflex, well, with 1 quarterback and 1 Superflex option. I personally prefer the 9 players, but this information is going to be useful to you in however you want to play them. All right, you got Dak Prescott going against Tom Brady. What's that? You think I'm playing favorites? That's an attack on my character, and I won't stand for it. Let's talk football. The first time these two faced off in week 1, the Buccaneers had their most dominant performance of the entire season, and the Dallas Cowboys had their most pathetic performance of the entire year. The Buccaneers ended up winning that game 19-3. Dak busted up his thumb, and Tom Brady looked terrific, and so did the Bucs. That game had zero indication on how the season was actually going to go. Since Dak went out after that week 1 loss, the Cowboys defense rallied behind Cooper Rush. They banged out 4 wins and only suffered 1 loss to the first place Philadelphia Eagles. Dak came back in week 7, and it looked like he didn't miss a step. He came in, they dominated the Detroit Lions, and the Cowboys haven't looked back ever since. Then on the other end, you got the Bucs, who finished with a record of 8-9, but they also finished first in the worst division in football. The NFC South was completely garbage. They faced a lot of garbage and adversity this year, whether it be divorces, injuries on the O-line, Tom Brady temper tantrums, you name it. They've dealt with it. Coming into this game, their O-line is riddled with injuries, and still I can't count Tom Brady out. Don't bet against the GOAT. Dak Prescott comes in priced at $6,600. Not a bad price point. His O-line is back. Tyron Smith is protecting his right side now. No difference. He's still there. He's still dominant. All of his weapons are healthy on the receiving front. He's got both Zeke and Pollard, and he's coming into this matchup against the 17th worst defense against the pass. He should have a nice night. This secondary for the Bucs is banged up. The pass rush they have this year is the worst that it's ever been in the Tom Brady era. The one shining light that the Bucs defense has is the relentless pursuit that they have on their linebacker core. I see Kellen Moore scheming around this, taking advantage of the aggressiveness that this Bucs defense does have. Tom Brady, the GOAT, priced at $6,400. This Cowboys defense, they're the 7th best against the pass. Tom Brady's back is against the wall. Everybody's counting him out. Nobody thinks that he could do it. Can this Michigan man overcome these obstacles and lead the Bucs to a victory? Don't count the GOAT out, ever. That's enough about quarterbacks. Let's talk about running backs. You got Tony Pollard and you got Ezekiel Elliott. Both of these guys have been putting in work. Tony Pollard, priced at $6,400, he's a problem. He has the ability to take any play and go for a touchdown. Doesn't matter where he's at on the field. When he's on the field and he's running, he always looks like he's the fastest guy on the field. Nobody can catch up. With that being said, the Bucs' rush defense is actually the 7th best in the NFL. So if Tony Pollard is going to produce, look for that to be more due to his involvement in the passing game than in the running game. Zeke! The goal line monster. Woo! The donation pot jumping. Woo! The nose ring wearing son of a gun. And I'm going to be damned paying $6,200 for no production. Give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo! Jokes aside, $6,200 on a running back who is touchdown dependent is pretty tough. He is no longer tasked with the job and the responsibility of the running back who breaks one big. He's going to be on the goal line, and I don't see the Cowboys really getting him there and being able to punch one in, especially against this really impressive front seven. Speaking of touchdown dependent backs, let's talk about Uncle Lenny. Playoff Lenny. $5,600, not a bad price point, but does he have what it takes to take advantage of this Cowboys defense and get into the end zone, especially after the horrible season he's had and all the questions about who's the guy in the backfield now? Then you got up and coming star running back Rachaad White, priced at $5,400. Is he the guy? I think what this decision comes down to, and what it really boils down to, is who can you trust in these situations? Now, Rachaad White's been impressive, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to Tom Brady, he's always going to go towards the experienced guy in these situations. So if I were to pick between the two backs, I would personally go with $5,600 Leonard Fournette, and you can't put a price on experience. All right, let's talk wide receivers, starting with $6,500 Mike Evans. Now, contrary to popular opinion, Mike Evans doesn't suck. Tom Brady has been getting rid of the ball faster than he's ever had to before because his O-line is busted up. Mike Evans benefits, especially in fantasy perspective, from attacking the deep third and being able to win those one-on-one jump balls. If you don't have the opportunity to even drop back and get set before you throw the rock, you're not going to get a lot of volume. And this pass rush, including Micah Parsons, is relentless. So for that, I'm fading Mike Evans, but I'm definitely not fading this next. That next guy that I'm definitely going to play on all of my rosters is Chris Godwin. The reason why you want to play $6,300 Chris Godwin is, one, it's PPR format. So you get a point for every reception. All those dink and dunks, all those bubble screens and run after catch, he has that. He's going to get you 14 to 20 points simply on volume alone. And he could even be the guy who gets them into the end zone a time or two. Speaking of which, Chris Godwin, anytime touchdown, that's the prop of the day. So, we've established this many times before. Especially on these one-game slates, you want to stand out, and you want to stand out big time. You don't want to go to highly owned Mike Evans, and you definitely don't want to go to highly owned Chris Godwin because everybody else is going to have them. It has nothing to do with those guys themselves. You want to be able to stand out with a unique roster, build roster construct. You want to have an X factor. And the guy who fits the mold of being able to go deep and also catch those intermediate routes, that's Julio Jones, coming at the pretty price of $4,000. He's my X factor. Julio Jones will single-handedly either win this game or lose this game for the Bucs. If he goes off, the Bucs are going to win. I'm going to gamble on that. Since we're on the topic of highly owned wide receivers, let's talk $7,000 CeeDee Lamb. This guy's a no-brainer. You got to play him. I mean, even if everybody else owns him, he's going to get the volume. He's going to get the receptions. He's going to get the yardage. He's going to get the touchdowns. Dak relies on him. The Cowboys rely on him. They eat as he eats. He's going to eat. Just put him in your freaking lineup. Now, speaking of gambles, $4,200 Michael Gallup, he's a gamble. This secondary, as we've established before, is awful. They're terrible. We know CeeDee Lamb's going to eat. But Michael Gallup could be the beneficiary of a bunch of double teams going the other way. He just needs to be able to come down with the rock and get open. $4,200, seems like a pretty decent risk that I'd be willing to take. I will advise you, since it's a one-game slate, the need to pivot to a tertiary option isn't necessary. If you were to pivot to a tertiary receiver option, you could look at guys like Russell Gage, T.Y. Hilton, Nico Brown, or Rashad Perriman. Yeah, those are the 4 guys. I don't want them on my lineup. I don't really think there's a need to pivot to them on a one-game slate. They don't really get a lot of reps and a lot of playing time. Sure, one of them can pop off, but I'd rather stick to the studs than the duds. So this Tampa secondary, as we've established a gajillion times before, they're banged up. They are going through tough times. Since they're so banged up, they got to play a lot of zone defense, and now they're ranked 22nd against the tight end position. So $4,600 Dalton Schultz should see a lot of production. Now, that might be a high asking price, but the other options aren't really great. You got a lot of volatility coming out of the Tampa side. Into this game, $3,600 Kyle Rudolph is questionable. What else is questionable? His ability to produce when he's on the field. Now, I don't want to be disrespectful to any NFL player, but he's never been a productive tight end since he's been in the NFL. Cameron Brate, on the other end, he's more of a receiving tight end, and that term is used loosely, coming at the price of $4,000. There's not much reception production. The only tight end I'd consider playing in this entire position group would be $4,000 Cade Otton, because he has the ability to be in the game as they establish the run. And as we've seen time and time again before with Tom Brady and Gronk connection, he will benefit from that play action post where Tom just so softly places the perfect ball right behind the linebacker's head and right in front of the safety, protecting his player. So if you were going to go to any of these tight ends, Cade Otton would be your best bet. He might score a touchdown. I might also take that prop. That wraps up our Wild Card Monday breakdown. Once again, thank you so kindly for joining me here. Everything that you need to know is in front of you. Let's go win that money. Please leave a comment if you guys want me to talk about anything else, or if you guys have any questions on how this works. We definitely have a lot of content coming up, and we're really excited to bring it to you. Once again, please like, subscribe, turn on that bell notification. That way you know anytime we put up a video or even go live. Thank you once again for joining us. Make sure you sign up for OwnserBox using the link below, and we'll see you guys next week.